I think people in the community of Lynn should know about Pathways, that we've been here for more than 45 years.
The students are the most enthusiastic students I've ever taught.
They're incredibly motivated to improve their lives.
They come from all around the world.
It's very different, interact with another cultures in the same place.
Now we open new opportunities to speak in English.
Many of them leave here with a degree in like a high set degree or GED.
I am speaking better. I am talking, it's not nervous, it's more comfortable for me.
It doesn't make me feel like I'm struggling. I feel like everybody in my class struggles with things day to day too. So it's kind of like, it's really supporting having your classmates and then, you know, the staff and the teachers are just so supportive. It's like amazing because, you know, you think that people don't care about your education and then you come here and it's like, everybody's so concerned and wants to help you, and it's really like, definitely a life-changing experience.
And that is the reason. Improve my life here.
It's a great program.
I'm going to send it to you again.
Get rid of this and I'm going to start over again.
So there's a thing that says join Zoom meeting. Oh, hold on, let me do this.
It's 7 o'clock. Just about to start. No luck with Gene. I can't hear you, Mary. Mary?
All right, hold on, Jean. I got you on the phone.
Oh my God, I look so awful, Mary.
All right, don't worry. Then we got you on the phone.
I'm here. I can see myself.
Okay, perfect.
Can you hear me, Gene? Gene, can you hear me?
Did I hang up?
Jean, can you hear him?
I can hear you. I can see me.
Can you see yourself? Can anyone see if Jean's on Zoom?
I can't see Gene. I can hear her through your phone, I guess, but that's
All right,
it.
let me see who's on participants. There's 13 of them.
I just don't know if I can have her sit on a case if she can't hear us.
Jean, can you hear them?
Oh my God, now I see a whole, I see
There
you.
you are. There she
Hi,
is.
Gene.
Okay, you're in, Jean. Bye, Jean.
Okay, so
Please join audio.
Yes, join audio.
Dial in or call using internet audio. Oh no, I don't know what I'm doing.
you're doing good, Gene. We can hear you.
I can't do that.
Eugene, you're in. Just join audio.
Gene,
That's all.
do computer audio, internet audio.
With computer audio.
Hi, Soon. Thank you very much. Hi, Mary. Thank you very much.
You all set?
Now,
Okay, everybody, we can-
is Rick there?
Rick is here.
Will you please tell him that I've had 2 phone calls from people who say they watch this, but the phone number does not come across the screen, and they want to call in and they can't because they don't know what phone number.
I've also heard that.
The phone number doesn't come across the TV screen.
So the phone numbers are listed on the Zoom meeting thing, on the notice.
I mean, if they said, see, last week we had a couple people talking, but they were in the Zoom thing. They weren't calling on the phone.
What is the phone number that they can dial in at? I'll say it when I ask for people to call in favor or opposition.
Well, they're telling me to ask you, when you say anybody have a
Opposition
yes
or
or
in
no,
favor?
please give the phone number.
Okay, what is the phone number I should give Mary?
There are several phone numbers we should be
Okay,
giving.
so I'll use the New York one. That's the closest to home, okay? 646-558-8656. All right?
Okay, Gene?
They also need to know the
I'm just passing on
ID
what
number.
people ask me.
The case ID number? Or the meeting ID number? I'm just trying to give them a
meeting-
phone number,
They also need the meeting ID number when they call in, right here.
no? Yeah. Isn't there a local number they can call in at? Okay, meeting ID.
And if they need a passcode, this is the passcode.
Wow.
But I don't think
So I'm
they're going to
resend
need
all
it.
that every time I have someone calling in favor or opposition?
I can put this up, and I can circle it.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you put it up on the screen? That's the better idea.
Okay, I'll put it up when we ask people to call in.
Okay, good. Thank you, son. That'll work. And then I'll direct you to look for that number.
Thank you, Pedro.
Oh, great. Thank you, Pedro. Okay, so we have enough members here to start, so I'm going to start the meeting. Welcome, everyone, to our April 27th Lynn Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Mary, would you call the roll, please?
Yes.
Puedes llamar, pero no es la misma.
Mr. Wooten,
Present.
Mr. Kravitz,
Present.
Mr. Maku, Mr. Smith,
Present.
Mr. Gisono, Mrs. Curley,
Present.
Mr. Callen,
Present.
and Mr. Wood.
Present. Okay, thank you. Regarding the minutes from our last meeting, which was April 6th, does anyone have any comments or additions or corrections on the minutes from April 6th? If they do, let us know now, please.
Motion to accept is read.
Okay, hearing none, we have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor of accepting the minutes from April 6th, say aye.
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 Okay, we just have minutes are accepted from the April 6th meeting. Okay, so the first case tonight is
Gene, I can hang up on you.
Street. This is
Gene, we can hang up.
ZBA case number 9968, 111 Locust Street. So we received a letter from the attorney, Sam Vitale, asking us to continue this case because he hasn't had the opportunity. Apparently someone was an architect or someone involved on their end. Here it is. Okay, I'll read the letter. Dear Chairman Wood and members, I represent the petition on the above entitled matter. This is from Sam Vitale for the case 9968, 111 Locust Street, and request.
Okay, then I'll leave it on.
Hearing scheduled for this matter, Tuesday, April 27th, to be continued to the board's next regular meeting, which I believe is May 4th. The reason requested, its continuance is requested is that the architect and engineer informed me earlier this week that they were unable to deliver. I lost the letter, son. So they were unable to deliver the plans that we would need to look and be prepared to adjudicate this case. So Can I get a motion to continue this to the May 4th hearing case?
Motion to continue.
Got a motion from Mr. Callen. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay, and just for the record, on this case, we have myself, Mrs. Curley, Mr. Callen, Mr. Wooten, and Ms. Crowitz. Were you both okay to sit on this case? I take that as a yes. And so, Mary, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mrs. Crowitz? To continue?
Yes, to continue.
Yes, to continue.
Till May 18th,
Yes.
May 18th is the next meeting, okay.
okay?
Not May
Miss-
4th?
No, May 4th, there wouldn't be enough time to notify the abutters.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Wooten, to continue to May 18th?
Yes, to continue to May 18th.
Mrs. Curley, to continue?
Yes, to continue.
Mr. Callen, to continue?
Yes, to continue.
And Mr. Wood, to continue?
Yes, to continue. Okay, so case 9968 is continued until May.
I would die.
Okay, our next case.
Last of it was in their bloodstream.
I don't have the case. Okay, here, I guess it's case number, let's see. Case number 9947, 314 Broadway. Okay, so on this case, if Mr. Smith and Ms. Crowitz would sit, please, as for the associate members.
Okay.
And so this case is continued also. Jim, Attorney Lamanna, would you give us your update on this case, please?
Certainly. So the city, I represented at the last meeting, the city council and the mayor transferred money for us to hire a appraiser. We did that. Greg Story's been engaged. He has put together a preliminary estimate. There's actually two properties that he's looking to do an appraisal. One would be the true value, and Rowley's is looking for to extend a deck behind his restaurant. The appraiser sent us back some questions about the duration of whether it's a license or an outright sale or a lease, and that'll affect his valuation. We'll provide him that information, and I fully expect by the May 4th meeting we'll be able to state exactly what the lawful way is the city to transfer title over to the petitioner for the purpose of constructing an addition storage shed on the property.
Okay. That's nice to get some progress on that. Hopefully, do you think maybe by next meeting we'd have results, or?
I'll be able to report the lawful way and the options for the Public Property Committee to go out and there'll be some dialogue, I'm sure, with the petitioner, whether he's looking for a 5-year lease, a 10-year lease, an outright sale. Each of those different options has a different price tag, and anything over $30,000 would require a bid, and that could happen limited to abutters only. But we'll be working with the petitioner, and if my feeling is it's probably something long-term and not a mere 5-year lease or a 20-year lease. It would be something that he'd be looking he could purchase outright. But we'll speak with him and speak with the ward councilor about the lawful way in order for us to convey the property. It was via an easement. Was not the proper way. At the time, we were unaware that it was going to be a foundation and a permanent structure. So we have to go back and revisit the wheel a little bit, in the sense that we can't grant an easement with a foundation and a permanent structure.
Okay. Well, we seem to be moving ahead, so that's good. So we'll look for a report. And at this point, we'll continue. Can I get a motion to continue this case to our next meeting?
Motion to continue.
I second.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Callen, seconded by Ms. Crowitz. Can you call the roll, please, Mary?
Yep. Mr. Smith to continue to May 18th?
Yes, to continue.
Mrs. Crowitz to continue to May 18th?
Yes, to continue.
Mrs. Curley's continue. Mr. Callen to continue to May 18th?
Yes, to continue.
Mr. Wood to continue to May 18th?
Yes, to continue. Okay, we'll hopefully move further ahead on that for next meeting. Next case, one case we're going to hear tonight is case number 9969. For our associate members sitting on this time, Mr. Smith and Mr. Wooten, are you both okay to sit on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll read the petition to vary the provisions of the City of Lynn zone ordinance to allow the conversion of an existing two-family structure to a three-family with the construction of a new dormer with insufficient square footage. Okay, and let's see, petitioner is Barbara Oho, represented by his attorney, Attorney Louis Santana. Mr. Santana, Attorney Santana, do you want to make your case here?
Yes, good evening. And just for the record, I'm not an attorney, I'm an engineer, representing Mrs. Ojo.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little there.
You're breaking up.
Can you hear me well now?
Mr. Chairman, he's the engineer and not the attorney.
I couldn't hear that either. What was that? Was that Flory?
Yeah, me. Yeah, he is the engineer and not the attorney.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Santana, do you want to, I'm not sure if we're having trouble with your audio, but you want to try and continue?
Yes, can you hear me well? I just want to make sure.
I believe I could hear you better that time. You want to continue?
Yes. This is an existing lot with 4,300, slightly over 4,300 square feet, and contains a two-family, which is a legal conforming use according to the zoning district, which is a apartment zone class 2. What Mrs. Ojo is proposing is to turn this into a three-family. The work, the determination by the Sexual Services concluded correctly that under Section 4.11, the family is a permitted use, and there are not necessarily variances that will be required, but some of the dimensional requirements for this particular property are non-conforming. So the building is not conforming due to the dimensional requirements. One of them is the lot area, which the requirement is 50,000 square feet for an R4 district, and the other one is the rear yard, which is insufficient, and the front yard that is insufficient as well. The work that is going to be done is level 1 alteration and a change of occupancy. The existing non-conformities that will not be increased. The side yard are conforming, and the percentage of the gross floor area of the building with respect to the lot is also conforming, and so is the open space. So as you can see from that side plan that you have in front of you now, the rear yard is about 3 and 4 feet on that section. It doesn't meet the requirement. Now, the front yard is about 4 feet and 6 inches on Chatham Street. This is a corner lot, and it has 14 feet and 3 inches on Sanderson Avenue. The proposed work, the building, it would practically is not going to change on the exterior. The only exterior alteration that is not going to be visible from the public way is a rear dormer on that area. If you go to the previous slide, there is an area indicated towards the left corner of the building that shows the area of the work. That will be a shed dormer that is going to be facing the rear property line, and that is necessary in order to accommodate the headroom for the stairs for that particular unit. So from the plans, you can see that essentially the two units the apartments are set up in a way that it was very easy to divide them into 3 units. Just by creating that new stair, replacing actually a semicircular stair with a conventional stair, and by putting a partition at that area. So essentially, you have a bi-level 3 units side by side, and the high space. We needed that dormer in order to increase the headroom in order to accommodate the stairs and make it functional and code compliant. So with respect to the relief requested, in reality, the building will remain as it is. The non-conformities will not be increased. And the only relief that we're seeking for is from Section 7.4, which is a building that is non-conforming cannot be altered unless we have permission from the zoning board of appeals.
I was having some trouble understanding you, but I got most of your audio was a little jarbled. But my question was is the parking. Now, you're looking for a parking variance too? Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. We have she has a driveway on the Sanderson Avenue side, which can fit 1 car, and she has a driveway on Chatham Street as well, which can fit about 2 cars tandem. Now, the requirement is 1.5 spaces per unit. So if you take in consideration the existing units, adequate parking is existing for those units. The additional units will not be provided with additional parking since there's no space to put it. Yet there is ample parking on the street. Since this is a corner lot, you have parking on Sanderson Avenue on a street parking, and as well as Chatham Street. So that should not have an impact. Correct. That's the Sanderson driveway, which fits the car. And on Chatham Street, there is a driveway as well, which can fit about 2 compact cars. Considering the amount of off-street parking, as you can see on this Google map, I don't think that should have any impact on the parking situation in the area.
So I would need to see a legal drawing from a land surveyor that would show how many actual parking spaces you have. To me, it looks like the picture that I'm seeing right now on the screen, when that car there on the left is not a legal parking space, nor is the one on Sanderson Avenue.
That's not their property, I don't think, is it?
I didn't think it was either.
Their property's on Chatham.
Yeah, so there's only 1 space, and it's not even a legal space because it doesn't have a setback. It's not the legal dimension for a parking space. So I mean,
Mr. Chairman.
What's that?
Mr. Chairman, can I make
yes, please.
Can I add something to the parking?
Yeah.
The petitioner was supposed to have a certified parking plan made up by a professional land surveyor. I don't see that parking plan. Where is that?
Mr. Santana or?
Yes, again, the parking that you see right now on the property is existing parking. And you are correct. Just like the lot area that doesn't conform, the curb on the sidewalk is existing. So that leads me to believe that although that parking does not conform to dimensional requirements, it appears to be a legal curb cut on the sidewalk on both sides, on Chatham Street and Sanderson Avenue. Now, you are correct, Mr. Wood, that the parking does not appear to meet the dimensional requirements. But it's existing parking, this is the parking we are proposing.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I do have a quick question.
Yes.
The parking that's tandem on the Chatham Street side, that belong to you guys or not? I think that was a question that came up because it appears to be that it's not. Yeah, that area, correct. Does it belong to this property?
There are from the wall of the building on that side to the property line, there is 12 feet. That's the distance according to the architectural site plan that we produced. So my assumption is that the parking as shown is contained on the property for 69 Chatham Street, 67, 69 Chatham.
That's not what he's asking. He's asking if these two spots that are shown in the picture that's on your screen, does that belong to you or does that belong to the neighbor?
My understanding is that belong to Mr. Ojo. Mrs. Ojo.
All right. So in order to validate this, we'll need a plot plan showing the parking, the entire parking. We can't just, assume, because based on what it's looking like right now, it doesn't seem to be a parking for this address.
May I? Mr. Chairman, may I? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Were you done, Flory?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I travel this street a lot. My son used to live in Swampscott and I live in Lynn, and this used to be my cut-through street. And I am not the only one who uses it as a cut-through street so that I don't have to travel on the main road, particularly in the summer when you don't want to hit the beach traffic. So when you're coming down Sanderson from Swampscott, you do a quick right here, and then you do a quick left on Baltimore. People do it 1,000 times a day, I would bet you. It's a very dangerous intersection. I don't know what time of day they took these pictures, but I have never seen this street so empty of parking, ever. It's usually jammed with parking, with kids playing all over, and there's a preschool just as the street ends. I believe there's a little preschool, and I just think it would be not a safe thing, in my opinion, to add another family and their parking requirements to this project.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask you, Mr. Chairman, what's the hardship? Yeah, where does the petition approve a hardship? That the board could look favorably at it. I don't see any hardship there.
Do you have any response, Mr. Santana?
Yes. Ms. Ojo has a family coming from Africa. Her son is living with her right now, and he's moving out. And she doesn't want to be alone and just have tenants on this house. And for that reason, she wants to provide additional unit from her family coming from her home country. That's one of the reasons that she wants to add this unit. And if I may add to the parking, if you please allow me one more time, we would be more than happy to provide a survey indicating the existing parking. I just want to convey to the board that with all due respect, that the parking shown on this Google Maps, we are not seeking permission for it. They are existing as they are. And I do agree with the board, they do not meet the dimensional requirements. Although a research can be done, my assumption is that they definitely will don't legally because the curb cut exists on the sidewalk. Now, the only relief that we're seeking is for the additional unit and additional spaces required for that unit, which is 1.5. So the existing parking, although the way that is shown in the sign, it doesn't meet the dimensional requirements, is existing. And only for that additional unit is additional parking that we're looking for. So we're really not looking to put 5 cars on the street. We are seeking relief for 1 additional vehicle for that additional dwelling unit.
May I say something, Chairman?
Yes, Gene.
Well, the one parking spot you seem to think you have, you don't have because that car's hanging over the sidewalk. That isn't even legal. And even if you think you have 2 parking spaces around the other side, you still don't have enough parking. Period.
I agree. We do not have enough parking for the third unit. That is correct. And those parking spaces exist and they don't meet the requirements. I would not argue that. That is a fact.
Well, if you don't come up with a legal document with legal parking spaces, I'm not voting for this. I'll tell you now.
No, it's practical. I understand. I understand your concern. The only problem with that is on a lot of 4,000, just slightly over 4,000 square feet with this topography. As you can see, that the house is elevated above the sidewalk by about 3.5, 4 feet. It would be practically impossible to provide additional parking. Actually, if we do that, that will become more detrimental and dangerous to the area because those cars park in tandem. If we extend either of those driveways, and that we do not have the space in order to do that, well, let's say for the sake of argument that we could do that, the only way that we could put the spaces would be on the front yard, which is really inadequate, and I believe not permitted by the code. And then if we extend the driveway towards the rear of the property, having 3-4 vehicles standing will pose a hazard when they're backing up into either one of those streets, especially the Chatham Street side, which is, as Ms. Kraus mentioned, is a pretty busy street. So I would argue in favor of not providing additional parking than creating a hazardous situation by adding 5 spaces into a lot that is quite small.
Mr. Santana.
This is a basement apartment. Is this a basement apartment?
No, ma'am. All the apartments, the basement is used only for storage for all 3 units. These apartments are side by side, by level.
So this is a basement apartment. So they're really going to be living in the cellar next to the heating.
Oh, no. It's not a basement apartment. I apologize. The basement is only used for storage, as you can see on this plan on the left-hand side, upper corner.
It's not a basement apartment, Gene. It's going to be the whole front section of the house. But
Not a basement apartment?
Sorry.
Did you say it's not?
It's not.
It's not a basement
apartment.
Thank you.
Chairman?
Mr. Yes.
I did. Thank you.
Mr. Santana? So
Yes.
Just a few thoughts on your case. And the parking situation, from what I can see, you do not have one legal parking space. Maybe one on the Chatham Street side, but even that didn't look like it had the setbacks. You're supposed to be 5 feet from the house and 5 feet from the property line. And so there's certainly not 2. But the point is that you need 5. And historically, this board, at least in the 12 years I've been on it, we are, we don't like to increase the size of a property. We don't like to turn a 2 into a 3 unless there's sufficient space there, especially in a neighborhood like this, where, as Member Crowitz just said, it's a very dense neighborhood, a very busy neighborhood, and so it's very unlikely that any extra plans that you put together, I would not want to see you go and get that legal plan from a surveyor, spend that money, and I just don't see a positive outcome for this case. I can feel for the petitioner. She wants to put her family there. That's not really a hardship. That's something that she would just like to have. A hardship needs to be a financial hardship. So, you can take your chances if you want to and get a surveyor to, spend that money. But I think you're going to have 0, maybe 1 parking space. And it's we feel a responsibility to the neighborhoods not to increase the density. And so, this just doesn't look like a positive outcome for you. So just having said that, I want to open up the hearing to anyone else that wants to speak in favor of this petition. Pedro, do you have that number you could post for anyone that wants to call in favor?
They can call any of these numbers here. Okay. This is to get into the meeting, the ID number, and if you need a passcode, use this passcode. These are all the numbers that you can use to call with Zoom.
Pedro was mentioning he might be able to post it right on
Pedro did post it. He just said yes.
No, okay. Okay, that works. So the hearing's now open for anyone else that wishes to speak in favor of the petition. We'll wait a few minutes. Mr. Santana, if you have anything you want to add,
yeah. I would like to add, sorry. I would like to add that you're correct, Mr. Wood. I mean, spending resources that my client doesn't have in order to engage a survey company, I think it's going to help because the problem with that is that creating additional spaces on this lot is practically impossible. And so whether we have survey or not, I don't think that's going to solve the problem. I don't want to go back to you and with the survey that is going to show pretty much what is in front of you because we will not be able to add additional parking. Now, that being said, and you mentioned hardship, generally the board, in what has been my experience, financial hardship is something that the board may or may not take in consideration. So the type of hardship that my client has presented as a growing family, I think is significant. And the other thing that I think is the reason why I think the board should rule in granting these variances is because, and I understand your concern if this was only on Chatham Street, but having a corner lot, that poses I think a great advantage for the parking situation because although Chatham Street is a very busy street, Sanderson is not. And therefore, that additional space that may be required for that additional family can really be entertained on the street. Now, what we could definitely do is, if it dissatisfied you, we can engage the surveyor to see how we can improve the existing parking and then present an option to you. But we will definitely not end up with 5 spaces if we do that. I just want to make sure that you understand that because it would be misleading if I tell you that I will present a survey that is going to show 3 or 4 spaces. But we definitely can look into it and see if the existing space could be improved. And if it is, we can produce a survey and present it to you again at a subsequent hearing. If you give us the opportunity, I just want to be clear that there will never be no parking for this development.
Yeah, and I don't see if you don't have the 5, even if you had 5 parking spaces, it would be a big lift for us. I believe, I can't speak for my fellow members, but I don't think that there's a high hope that you're never going to get the 5 parking spaces on there. So it's up to you. If you want to request a continuance and you want to get that, we'll put that question to the board and see if we can get that approval. But so if anyone else at this time has anything.
I just have one quick question, Mr. Wood.
Sure.
To the engineer, whether he can remove the berm and level that the retaining wall. Is that doable?
I still don't think you'll create enough space. You need setbacks 5 feet from the building and 5 feet from the property line.
I think he's saying if you remove the berm, you could use some of the land.
Yeah, but I don't think there's enough. Well, yeah. Go ahead. I guess you'll have to have a surveyor draw that. certified surveyor draw that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
the building takes up most of the land that's there. There isn't one legal parking space, and you never have one. This is overcrowding, a typical case of overcrowding in the area. It's not fair to the neighborhood or to the city of Lynn.
that's how I feel, but, so let's just continue with the hearing now. So the hearing has been open for a while for anyone else that wants to speak in favor of the petition. I'm not hearing anyone else calling in favor of the petition. So in light of that, I'm going to close the hearing to those in favor and open the hearing for those in opposition. I do have one comment here in opposition. Where's that chat? There was a chat comment. Gloria. I mean, son, if you switch screens, will I see the chat? Oh, there it is, the chat. Yeah, chat down there. This was from Galaxy S8 to everyone. The comment is both Sanderson and Chatham Street are packed outside of working hours. So that's a comment in opposition. Thank you, Galaxy S8, for that, your participation. And so the hearing is still open for anyone that wants to speak in opposition. We'll hold on for a couple more minutes, and then we'll see what the wishes of the board are.
Chairman Wood.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that the way that these plot plans were presented made it really difficult to read because they were embedded in the PowerPoint. You can't really read the dimensions. You have to squint, and yeah.
I appreciate that. For me, I didn't have to go much further than the lack of parking problem and the increase of congestion for the neighborhood, but that is a very good point. So we're still holding out for anyone else that wants to speak in opposition. We'll wait another minute.
Okay, bye-bye. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Hearing no one else wishing to speak in opposition, I'll close the hearing for anyone in opposition. What is the wish of the board? We have a
Motion to deny.
I second.
Jean seconds that.
Okay, we have a motion to deny from Mr. Callahan, seconded by Mrs. Curley. Jean, Mary, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, let me just see who's on this case. I think
It's John and
Mr. Wooten. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, Mr. Smith to deny.
Yes to deny.
Mr. Wooten to deny.
Yes to deny.
Mrs. Curley to deny.
Yes to deny.
Mr. Callen to deny.
Yes to deny.
Mr. Wood to deny.
Yes to deny. Okay. Has been denied. And so that concludes our business tonight. If anyone else has a comment or any thoughts, then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
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 Aye, Jean said.
Thanks, Mrs. Santana, for your efforts tonight. I'm sorry it didn't go your way. Good luck with the project over there with the house. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you all.
to do it. With respect to the dwelling, we think it's a conventional modern two-family. You have the, I propose, I want to just hold up if we can, Gary.